I am the Judas Resurrection.
Here's the truth. Which shall compound against itself. That was once when I was driving truck in Northern California and Western Nevada, that I happened to be in Sacramento for the evening. And I said, hey, how do I get someplace where I can get a beer? And at the La Quinta I was staying in, they said, well, you can walk right through that park over there, but do not go through there after dark. And I said, oh, okay. And so when I got done with the job I was doing, I was back at the La Quinta. I said, I'm walking through that fucking park. And I had a knife that had like a little laser thing on it too. And it had my VFW stuff on it and my name. Specialist, 82nd Airborne Division. I carried that in my pocket all the time. I got it from the VFW thing. I ordered it. And so that night, I said, I'm going to that fucking barn. I'm walking through that fucking park. I go down places you're not supposed to go. I invite trouble. Sometimes. I mean, I'm just on the road. What's a boy supposed to do? And as I'm walking into that park, after there's a gas station right at the corner with all these lights on, and it's daylight and safe when you walk through there. And I'm walking through there going into the park towards it. And these two guys on the other side of the road, they said, hey. I said, what? They said, you want to buy a sweatshirt from Disneyland? And the one guy's holding up this dirty fucking sweatshirt with a picture of Mickey Mouse on the front of it. And it's from Disneyland in Southern California. And I don't know where he got it, but it was dirty. It looked like it was a fucking, what do they call them? Symptoms of evidence to a crime. I didn't care about that either. I looked at it and I looked at them as they approached me holding this thing out. And I said, I ain't never been there. And I walked away. And I could see them as I was stepping into the park. I was paying attention. And I saw these two guys look at each other as I walked away from them and start following me. And I said, ha, 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 ha. And I took out my knife and I had the blade open. And I'm just like, come on, motherfucker. This is why we're not supposed to walk through places like that. And without hearing anything behind me for a while, I turned around and they were gone. And I went through that park and I got my beer. And I sang karaoke. So you see, I'm somebody that likes to walk places you're not supposed to go. Sometimes you walk down an alley, you find an old man beating an eel off a fucking board and onto a nail, sticking its head and then fucking cleaning it. That's in the daylight. At nighttime, sometimes you walk right into Xanadu. And there's a fucking courtyard with a building in the middle of it with blue lights, neon shining down. And you say, yeah, motherfucker. Nobody wanted to walk down here with me. I found it when I was alone. Everything's gonna be okay and beautiful. Sometimes you walk down dark alleys. Sometimes there is something that tells you not to. I was once in a bar, the Branham Lounge, I think it was. Can't be sure. It was near a place I worked, and I met a guy, and I had the day off the next day. And he was excited. He's like, yeah. And he started telling me about how he made a whole bunch of money off a sale on $1 million house or something like that. It was at least $1 million. He was getting $250,000 in commission. He's telling me this whole big story. I've been told lies about people that are pilots or trying to get in my pants before, and I'm like, this fucker, there's something about him I don't trust. And he's like, yeah, going up into Tahoe, and I got a cabin up there, and we got a bunch of friends, and there are girls there. He said that. The fact that he had to put out there are girls there meant to me that he's trying to lure me into something. I don't believe this guy had any girls. And we went out, and I said, well, I'm not doing anything. And this is the part of the fool mentality I have. I say, if there's an opportunity to go see something strange, let's go for a walk. Every place is within walking distance as long as you have enough time. Being that I had the day off the next day, I said, yeah, fuck it, I'll go. And I got in his car. We went out and got in his car, and for a guy that made $250,000 commission, he had a cheap, beat-up old car. And I'm sitting there thinking about that. We're riding, and he says he had to stop. Oh, that's why he had to stop. Because as we're driving, getting ready to get on the freeway to go up to Tahoe, and just whatever it is, have a day off, I looked at him and I felt something odd about him. I could imagine him trying to get me up into the woods tied to a tree with a bunch of people running around doing things I didn't want him to do to me. I didn't go that far into it, but I had that image. Like, there's something wrong with this fucking guy. I might be riding along with Ted Bundy's gay brother, for all I know. And I looked at him and I said, if you try anything on me, I will kill you. That's how I said it. And we were coming up to a gas station. He says, hang on, I got to stop and get something. And I'm like, okay. There was no more talk after that. We stopped in the gas station. He went inside for a few minutes. He came back. He says, it turns out I'm not going up to Tahoe after all. I'll take you back to where you're going. I'm like, okay. And he took and he dropped me off at my apartment complex on Ross Circle off Branham Drive there. Motherfucker. What I gather from a story like that is I may have, and I'm willing to, I've done it before and after, go down a dark path through the moon, through the shadowy forest to see what might be on the other side. But in this instance, I said, well, I'm backing out. And what I gather from that is that nothing bad happened to me by walking away. It could have been the most incredible experience and a life-changing fucking path that I took. However, nothing bad happened to me by walking away, no matter what was in there. And sometimes we need to be able to understand that. We need to be able to recognize when there's something wrong with what we're being told, with the path we're being put upon by the will of another. Volition is one of those fantastic fucking powers that humanity has. Volition, the will. Yet we sometimes forget to allow volition to be our own.